He wasn't stealing the records. He was rescuing them. Chris Cornell's friend and neighbor, a kid named John Zimmer, had an older brother who'd run afoul of his parents' rules and gotten himself kicked out of the house. The Zimmers boxed up all of their son's belongings, including his vinyl albums, and stored them down in their dank basement. This proved a hazardous decision in the rainy confines of Seattle, Washington. The inevitable occurred. Water from a rainstorm poured into the basement and soaked the exiled brothers' extensive album collection. Among the stacks was a nearly comprehensive collection of Beatles albums and compilations just sitting there gathering mold, waiting for the day when someone would haul them out and trash them. The Zimmers' precocious 8-year-old neighbor had to do something to prevent that cataclysmic miscarriage of cosmic justice. So, he swiped them. Chris took the pile of vinyl home, threw out the damp cardboard sleeves, cleaned off the discs, and put paper towels between each of them so they would dry. Then he listened. Hours passed, then days, then weeks. He couldn't get enough. "For over a year I listened to nothing but the Beatles," he said. "It was my music school." Sitting alone in a room with his little portable record player, the Beatles were a sonic revelation to Chris. Locked in the tight, rain-stained grooves was a universe of sounds, feelings, and emotions he'd never experienced or imagined. Songs about love, longing, whimsy, friendship, octopi, and a yellow submarine. Every day, all he wanted to do was turn off his mind, relax, and float downstream. "I was like a normal kid," he remembered. "I ran around outside with my friends, but I also spent a lot of time alone in a room just listening to these records, just one after the other, one side of an album at a time." The more Chris listened to John, Paul, George, and Ringo, the deeper he fell under their spell. He started to wonder, how did they do this? How did they write the words, the melodies? How did they record the noise on the shiny black disc in his hands? Why did it sound and feel so damn good? And then he started to think about the 4 Liverpudlians themselves. Everyone has their favorite Beatle, and for Chris, it was the cutting, intellectual John Lennon. The bespectacled songwriter became his hero. His own father, Ed, was a distant presence. After he and his mom divorced years later, he became even more distant, until he eventually disappeared from Chris's life altogether. In the absence of an involved paternal figure, Chris looked to others for a sense of how to navigate the world. There was something about John Lennon, the way he alternated between goofy, intense, and introspective, that he identified with.